Hi, this is the second video I've made using the Analog Solutions Colossus Quartz. And the first video I made, I was trying to imagine it being back in the 1960s or 70s. Imagine you're in a studio, they've got one synth and it's one huge big modular thing. What can you do with it? Play it live. All the parts are playing interdependently. Everything's sort of linked a little bit, but can you make a modern sounding track? So had a little play and came up with this. And since then I've been looking at it as part of an integrated modern setup, so using it to do stuff that you can't do on anything else. And as it's got 12 oscillators, how about a great big fat juicy 12 oscillator patch? And that's a huge stereo patch. We've got a stereo mix set on module 4 with all the oscillators playing almost the same pitch. Or how about something like this, using the 12 oscillators to create a chord by tuning them to different pitches. Or something completely off the charts, like this. There's no reverb, there's no chorus, just those analog oscillators bouncing around off each other. And that's free to download. I'll put a link in the description. And all I've done is taken a sample, thrown it into a quick sampler. There we go. Let's add a little bit of release. Nice already. Filter, bit of envelope, some decay time, and then some release. Maybe a bit of resonance. That sample there is 92 seconds long, and that's because obviously when you play it low, it'll last 92 seconds. But the duration of the sample's halved with every octave because it plays at twice the speed. Well, hopefully a 1.5-minute sample is long enough. And every time a sample hits or something like this, it sounds completely different because the oscillators are doing something different. It's really quite cool. And I just think that's absolutely sublime. And as I say, it's free for anyone. Just click on the link in the description. I've also sampled a few chords to give some massive chord stab tones. Again, I'll add one of these to the download. And if you're a patron, you'll get access to all these multi-samples of the oscillators across the octaves with each of the shapes plus PWM, so you can have a play around with making your own tones with them. Or you can pick them up from starskycar.com for the price of a triple venti half sweet non-fat caramel macchiato. I remember when things were measured in pints, not coffees. Guess that's inflation for you. There's also over 180 drum samples in there, so you can do a 1960s or 70s inspired modular track. Or do what I've done here. Throw all that analog goodness into an 8-bit effect. Since recording this, I've fallen even deeper into the rabbit hole and sampled all 12 VCOs individually across a 5-octave span. And I recorded them individually as the tracking for each oscillator is very slightly different, which means they all change tuning ever so slightly over the 5 octaves. And then I've put them all into individual samplers in Logic and created this monster program with all 12 oscillators mapped in it. So by sampling them all individually, I've been able to do loads of different things with them. Like this one's just 2 oscillators in stereo. What's this one? In fifths. Or a nice big fat detuned bass with 2 oscillators. But just gives great control so that you can map things separately. But in the free pack you get all the drum samples, plus you get 2 long unison drones. As I say, they sound different every time we do them, so I put 2 in there, and a major 13th chord which I played earlier, which is just really nice. It's quite good for drum and bass or stuff like that. Drop the filter on that and it just sounds really fat and dark. After spending a couple of days making these, I thought you might be interested in using them. So I did intend on uploading a big single sample pack, but it's 2 gigabytes and Squarespace's limit is 300 megabytes per file. So I've uploaded 4 separate smaller packs to my starskycar.com website, and I'll put a link in the description again, but they're worth taking a look at. Gives you access to these 12 oscillators and just loads of stuff to play with. And of course the free packs there as well. But everything's in bite-sized chunks now, but each of the chunks costs less than a coffee. So not a fortune, and probably the cheapest way you're going to get to play with one of these, or maybe the only way you're going to get to play with one of these. This one's just the price of a tall non-fat latte with a caramel drizzle. The detailed samples of all 12 oscillators on a sawtooth. This pack will set you back the same as a triple venti soy no foam latte. A smaller pack with multi-samples of 2 sawtooths and a pulse comes in at an even cheaper £3, which is the same as a grande iced sugar-free vanilla latte with soy milk. If you want samples of all the wave shapes, so sawtooth, triangle, square and the smaller pulse. And this is coming in as the same as a venti half and half 10 pumps vanilla with extra whip. And the single shot drones and sweeps are coming in at the same as a non-fat frappuccino with extra whipped cream and chocolate sauce, although to be fair that does look rather tasty. This thing is showing me there's a whole world of stuff to play with and so much more you can do with it and explore once you've gone down the sampling route. And I've already spent far too long doing just that. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, please think about subscribing, ring the bell, join me over on Patreon. Obviously, you've got all access to patches, samples, and it's an ever-growing list of patches and samples and tutorials and extra bits and bobs that you may get some use out of, but it's really just nice to know that people support the channel and what I'm doing is appreciated. And I really do appreciate everybody who stayed to the very end. You are my favorites. So I'll see you next time.